Okay, so welcome to this video, and in this video I'm going to do a full review of the HSP Air Racer, which is an anti-gravity vehicle using 2 brushless motors and 2 ESCs. Let's get started. If you haven't already watched the video with titles review, then please check out the video with titles review on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/jthorny12. That video is basically the final testing video that I did. I'm now working in partnership with a person who works at a hobby shop who has tons and tons of HSP products. He has nothing but HSP, so that is why I'm working in partnership at the moment, and I'm the one that is filming, not necessarily driving. Basically, my job throughout that is to have my expertise used by the hobby shop owner, as the hobby shop owner is basically only a distributor. He has very little experience regarding RC vehicles. Please check out that video. Let's get started with the main things. The HSP Air Racer is an anti-gravity vehicle. The anti-gravity vehicle has an underside fan and a rear fan. The underside fan on the underneath or on the bottom, which is facing downwards, simply blows the car off the ground. That means it is suspended just slightly off the ground. Then the rear motor here simply pushes the car along. Now the underside motor is a brushless motor, as is the rear one. The rear one is not powerful enough. I'm going to give you an honest review. The rear one needs more power. We need a bigger brushless motor in the rear for more speed. Also, the underside one needs more power as well, because actually, even though it's called an anti-gravity racer, it's not actually lifting very far at all off the ground. It is still scraping on the ground. If we had more power, it would lift it up just slightly, so we've got no friction at all, which would therefore mean more speed. Perhaps if the underside one was more powerful, then we wouldn't need the rear one to be more powerful, as if there was no friction or very little friction, the rear one would do a great job. Even running on the 7.4 volt li-poly, the runtime is good, however, but the power does slack. This one needs more power. You'd need a very flat surface to run this one on. HSP claims you can run this one on grass. We've tested it on grass. You can't run it on grass. It also says you can run it on AstroTurf. We've tested it on AstroTurf. It will not run on AstroTurf. It will just sit there humming away to itself. It will not move on the AstroTurf or on the grass. We still remain to test it on a very golfing green grass area, or maybe even the fake grass like they use on the golfing green sometimes. So we still remain to test that one, but actually I don't think it's going to run at all well on the grass. So ideally you need a freshly laid, which isn't easy to find. Ideally you need a freshly laid tarmac. The tarmac works great, and on the tarmac it is smooth, it is easy, and easy to control on. Now, actually, during our testing, we used it for 10 minutes or so on the first run and 10 minutes or so on the second. After 2 batteries for about 20 minutes of running, in fact, both the motor mounts simply snapped. Now, this is basically a quality issue, and I would understand maybe more if we'd used it more, but actually I think that one could do with being better quality, and actually I think them motor mounts, the plastic motor mounts, would be great being aluminium. If they're aluminium, obviously they wouldn't break, therefore much better quality, and would hold the motor in there a lot more secure. And I'm not just on about the under motor, I'm actually on about the rear motor as well. Both of them ones broke, hence why there are some how to replace videos up on my channel. We had to replace both of them. One good thing about HSP though, a plus point to parts breaking, is that they are cheap to replace. The cheap to replace parts means that you can easily buy them. They are very easily available, and they are available in various loads of different hobby shops and online stores. Another thing is, with the stock battery, the NIMH battery, with that one that it comes with, it is even less power. You need to run a li-poly. Use a 7.4 volt li-poly. Until now, I'm not convinced it would take an 11.1 volt 3-cell li-poly. So we're sticking to the 2-cell 7.4 for the moment. Later we will maybe try and see if 11.1 volt will fry the ESCs or the motors. So we'll see about that. But I think it will only take 7.4 volt for now. So do not try putting 11.1 volt until I've found out otherwise. The steering system on the vehicle, the overall design and the idea of having this kind of rudder, this plain rudder on the rear, works great. However, when you're driving into the wind or when you're going over slightly more rough terrain that it can handle without getting stuck, you need a better steering system. I was thinking maybe if we still don't get it so that it submerges off the ground, maybe have a little front steering wheel perhaps that will simply turn left and right, not linked to any drive system, so it wouldn't be turning it into a car, but a nice little mini tyre and just to steer left or right. Maybe could be installed as an optional part perhaps, or maybe one that comes RTR with the vehicle, but you can turn it on or off depending whether you need it or not. So that might be a possible idea. I like that idea, and I think that that would vastly improve it if we didn't get it off the ground more. If that wasn't a possible solution, then maybe we could actually have a little wheel just on the rear of the vehicle sticking out there that will turn left and right as the rudder does as well. So a 2-channel into 1 system. That would work great. So just a few tips for HSP actually, and I'm going to email them with this information because I think that it would be vastly improve this model. It is a great idea, it is a great model as stated, and HSP have done a great job developing it from Axon Racing. I think all it needs is slightly more attention, and this one will be one fantastic model. I love it. It just needs 1, more power, 2, it needs a li-poly, and 3, it needs slightly more weight. Now I didn't mention that, but actually more weight on the rear or on the bottom, even though it would make it slightly heavier, I think that would be a good thing, because actually obviously if it's windy or etc, since it is so light at the moment, it is simply losing control. Driving into the wind, you don't have any steering control at all. Hence why I said perhaps we should have another wheel on the front, and even with the gusts of winds it will simply blow it away. You won't be able to control it by the rudder steering on the rear. Doesn't work, won't have it. Final thing I just want to mention is the ESCs need a LiPo cutoff, because actually since they are li-poly ready, when running li-poly batteries, if you overdrain them to such an extent, then actually that will damage the battery. It will swell up and can sometimes cause fire risks. So actually the ESCs need a li-poly cutoff so that when the battery gets to a certain lower level, it will cut off. It's alright with 9 miles because they go flat quickly and they won't do any harm if you run them completely out, but a li-poly needs to stay at a current storage voltage which the ESCs should be programmed to cut off at that point, so you don't overdrain the batteries. One thing to do until that is sorted is simply, if you are running a li-poly, as soon as you pull the trigger and you get a very, very downgraded noise, just stop. Do not carry on driving the vehicle. I hope that this review has been useful to you regarding buying the HSP Air Racer. Like I say, it just needs some more attention. It is a great idea from HSP, and I hope that my valued opinions will go down well with everybody out there. These are only my opinions, these are what I found. And if you do want to post any videos and a video response maybe, or give any of your own tips of what you have found, maybe to customise the model, then please do let me know. jt12rchelp@aol.co.uk, or send me a personal message or comment on this video, youtube.com/jthorny12. Bye bye.